Yeah, that's like my wife. Hello, and welcome to the Scottish Rugby Podcast in association with the Scottish Rugby Blog. Hang on a second. Jonny McGinty, look at me. I'm the captain now, Jonny McGinty. Okay?
You did so well.
I'm Craig, and I am currently reading absolutely to the dot from my notes so that I don't make any mistakes about when we record the pod and when you're listening to it. So I'm trying my best to do incredibly well. I'm just a wee pat in the back there. Joining me tonight is our resident doctor and ambassador of Shush, Allan McDonald. How you doing, Allan?
Very well, thank you. And the full of sleep hygiene everywhere.
Well, actually, yeah, our sleep hygiene guru is also joining us, Jonny McGinty. How you doing, Jonny?
I'm very good, sir. 6 more days of work. I'm over the moon.
Yeah, and then you'll be free. I know how that feels in this household because I'm getting it in the ear as well from the current Mrs. Manson. And also to show that not all Americans have lost their minds. Our man from the colonies, the Scrum of the Earth himself, and also the latest Mall Street Journal specialist stroke host stroke contributor have a listen because it all talks about American rugby. It's fantastic. David Lawrence, how are you tonight, mate?
Doing great. It's so nice to see you all. Yes, that was a lot of strokes. I'm not used to that many strokes at this time of day, but yes, the Scrum of the Earth is still going strong. Pretty much interview only format. Allan is going to be coming on the show pretty soon. I've got Sammy Sullivan from the Eagles Sevens coming. Brett McKay from Australia, punditry. Lots of great people kind of boiling on my nerdy little fire here. So, but the Wall Street Journal is the much more popular show that I'm doing, which does concentrate on American rugby, which means it's often pretty depressing, especially when we ship 85 points to the Scotland under 20/over 40s.
Yeah, well, I was going to be polite and not talk about that tonight, but seeing as you brought it, no, we'll not talk about it. We'll
Ironically, I think we had a better autumn than y'all did.
Oh, well, okay, touche, sir.
Remind me who invited him again.
I was going to say, good day to you, sir. I said good day to you, sir. Why does no one ever leave when I say good day to them? Anyway, that's another West Wing quote there for you, David, that's totally out in a bit of
I appreciate it.
corner. Thanks very much. Appreciate it. Our podcast is part of the Sports Social Network. Don't forget to give us a follow or a like on your favourite podcast app. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button and don't forget to give us a follow on social media. You can find all the links on our site, www.scottishrugbyblog.co.uk. You're also, if you're listening on Apple and like what we do, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Now we have a wee thing that we do, which is we have a Patreon side of things. If you'd like more content, you like what we do, and you want to support what we do, you can subscribe to our Patreon from just £3 a month plus the VAT, and that gives you access to our super secret Facebook group that Ian Hay exposed to everyone, and just told everyone who it was. But anyway, that's a different story. And the second part of tonight's podcast, we miss Ian Hay. Where is he going?
He always gets sent on the worst Scottish Premiership reporting jobs, I think. He's probably still throwing himself out from being in Troon the other week.
But then it's, he's doing a good job, so I suppose we have to let him get on with it. If you want to hear about the second part of tonight's podcast as well, Patreon exclusives, you can go to www.patreon.com/Scottish Rugby Podcast, I think it is, and you can join our patrons, and you can also listen to our patented and no other Scottish Rugby podcast has this on it, our Hands in the Ruck session.
Two things. One, you have to stop saying patented. We were told that in no uncertain terms, because unless we have a patent, it's not patented. Rihanna Garth Jones gave me in big trouble for you saying patented when it's not.
Don't worry, we've got some funds for her.
Have you written everything down except for the address for the Patreon?
I have. Everything is written down. It sounds so professional till I go, oh, and then you can see my head going like one of those dogs that doesn't understand what you're saying to it.
It's great anytime you read out a long URL and then finish with, I think.
Yeah. Well, I've got to leave. I've got to bring my professionalism down slightly, just to join up with Jonny and Allan and everyone. I've got to bring that professionalism. Oh.
Am I catching strays? Just checking for you. It's patreon.com/Scottish Rugby Podcast, but I'm not going to say that now, Craig.
Got it right. You know what it is,
Allan? What top are you wearing?
I'm wearing the We Stand With Ukraine one that the Scottish legends wore for the Sevens against the rest of the world legends, run by Ewan Tukalo. Someone sold them. It was a bit neat when I bought it, and I can now fit into it. So I'm like, I'm wearing that.
Nice. Well, Allan, I'm sorry.
I don't know if you noticed, I'm wearing the jersey that I debuted on Cammie's last episode on this very show, and we all collectively agreed that this is what a Scotland jersey would look like if Scotland was not in fact a country, but was in fact a town in Florida.
Is it the really hideous one with the lion rampant and stuff on the bottom? Isn't it? Oh no.
Oh yeah.
No.
Hey, listen, I think we discussed that as well. I think we discussed the one that Jonny McGinty and I have in our wardrobe. That we went to Italy on tour with the over 35s How team, and our friend Ian Manson went on to the was it Akuma?
It was Akuma, yeah.
Akuma went on the Akuma website and ticked all the boxes. So it had chainmail, and it had a 6-pack on it. And it had.
Would you like this jersey to be designed by a hyperactive 6-year-old mainline in blue Smarties? Yes.
Yes.
It was, mind you, it fitted me, and it was fabulous, and we could find each other in Rome.
Great top.
Yeah.
Well, this is a direct result of searching the words Scotland jersey cheap.
That's most of the jerseys we look for are exactly the same.
I've actually got an even better jersey than that Italy Tour one in my drawer, because when I played for Gav's charity team, so Gav Thomas, friend of the pod, arranged a big charity match for raising money for one of his friends who passed away, and apparently his friend, I don't know the exact story, something to do with a hotel, and he didn't want any eggs for his breakfast, so the top is bright yellow and covered in white eggs all over it. It's fucking absolutely hideous. I've got that as well. We'll have to
timestamp that as well and get the, we're not on Patreon, Jonny, but anyway, that's but I've seen it, and it deserved a bit of a swear. So anyway, so any of those listening that hear that, I do apologise. I'm trying to be professional, like the people that say, "Oh, I apologise for the foul language you've heard on."
You might have picked up a little bit of bad language on the referee's mic.
Yeah, exactly.
They've got to stop. They've got to stop mentioning it.
Just
way past.
I actually think it's a broadcasting requirement that they apologise for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is why when Andrew Cotter when someone went tackle him, but with more emphasis, shall we say, and Andrew Cotter said words to live by, and like a couple of minutes later, clearly someone's going, Andrew, will you just apologise?
Please say sorry. It's the law, Andrew.
So, Allan, just a quick apology to you for the start off at the beginning. That was mainly because Jonny McGinty was winding me up on Messenger earlier on prior to me coming on. So, poor old David and I were having a chat, and he got the whole story and all my swears at that point. So anyway,
it's so unusual for me to be winding you up as well.
Yeah, I'll get you back in a minute because we're about to talk about Glasgow and the Ospreys. No, Scarlets actually. Anyway. We will move on. The news. Prop news, Alan McDonald. Prop news. Rory Sutherland has committed to Glasgow until 2028. And that's the old prop news. New prop news. And soon to be leaving Edinburgh to go to Glasgow, because that's what usually happens with high-class forwards. Ollie Blythe Lafferty has signed his first professional contract until 27-28 season with Edinburgh. The 19-year-old prop who, after an amazing start, both with coming off the bench against it was Ospreys that we were playing against. Yeah, that's it. And then starting against Toulon. We finally have, hopefully, fingers crossed, someone to give Xander Fagerson a bit of a break. Allan, I'll come to you on this one. Ollie seems to be something special.
Yeah, he looked very, very good against Toulon on Sunday night. I thought it was, I thought he looked very, very good, solid in the scrum, good in the loose. Yes, I do think we've hopefully got someone that can give Xander a bit of a break, but I'm kind of trying to avoid saying that just because we've had a lot of people who we thought might give Xander a break who have fallen by the wayside, but it does look like young Ollie's got a wee bit more to him than that, than the others. So fingers crossed that we don't in any way ruin his potential and that he continues to develop as he has been doing.
Yeah, and it seems to be a way that Edinburgh seem to be going at the moment. They're starting to finally bring through some younger players that are getting a chance to play, following on from Franco Smith, Jonny. Rory Sutherland's a great Edinburgh player as well. Lions player, Scotland international. I think Glasgow are right to re-sign him, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, he's had some horrific injuries, and he's had some really bad luck as well to come back from the injury, came back from, and end up at Worcester, and then have the club just suddenly disappear. It's just a brutal couple of years for him, and we did see flashes of him being back to himself the last couple of months. So, hopefully a bit of stability in a Glasgow setup where he knows a lot of the players. I think, it'd be nice to see him back. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, definitely. And David, we have a dearth of props, especially at tight head, but even in loose head, we seem to be dragging, really dragging the bottom of the barrel at times to get a set of props to play for both Glasgow and Edinburgh. But hopefully, fingers crossed, we're starting to go in a different direction.
Yeah, this is something you've talked about on this show a lot, and something that I know has been a fear. And I feel like it's early. The jury's probably still out, but I also feel very optimistic. I think you said he's just 19. Is that right?
19 years old, yeah.
That's pretty great. And obviously, the tendency is to put too much on somebody at that age too soon. But I feel like with sort of cautious optimism, this is really good news. This is sort of stealth good news.
Yeah, very much so. And I guess, there are comparisons to be, Allan, there's comparisons to be held with Xander as well, because Xander was young when he first got kind of chucked in at the deep end, and everyone went, "Oh, this prop is far too young, and he showed a little bit of his rough edges before, but he came through, and now we're looking at someone who was a lion before he got injured.
I think the difficulty, is Xander is perhaps he developed in spite of the start that he had rather than because of it. Because it wasn't that when VP Nell had the horrible neck injury, and Xander was basically in, and it was Simon Bergen was the understudy, and actually Xander kind of basically like chucking a child in the water to see if they can swim. It's not to be recommended, and I think, yeah. But hopefully the presence of a fit Xander will mean that Ollie Blythe-Lafferty can be eased into the international setup a bit better than Xander was. As I say, Xander's done great. He's one of the best tight heads in the world. But yes, I think we hopefully will be able to give young Ollie a better
there's people already calling for it to be put straight into the squad already. So, and I should stop. I should really get off X. Anyway,
with a name that long, it's going to be hard to find a cool nickname, though.
Yeah, Ollie Onion, I suppose, because that's what everyone used to. When we used to get that when we came in with a spiky bit of our hair that we'd been sleeping the wrong way. And you come into school and your hair. I did have hair once, and you had a bit of a coos lick, which we also used to call it, and people would come up and rub their knuckles on your head and go, "Ollie Onion." Yeah, you could call them that. Or I think we've had one of our YouTube followers or listeners, Mark, has said obelisk. So there's OBE. Yeah,
I stand corrected. That was good.
Yeah. Also, he's OBL, isn't he? So it could be Obladi, Oblada, if we're going down the Beatles route.
Just OBL's fine.
OBL sounds about right. Yeah, that sounds way cooler than anything we've ever come up with, but that's a different story. Moving on, Glasgow and Edinburgh have both announced their Celtic Challenge squads. Glasgow standouts seem to be basically, I think they've taken most of Stirling County's squad and made them into Glasgow players. Skye Fimster returns from returns. We've got where now Gemma Bell returns as well after making her Scotland debut against England in Six Nations. We've also I'm slightly conflicted here again, and it's all George Horn and Pete Horn's problems here, because we've got Sam. Now, Sam, you have to really excuse me if you're ever listening to this, because I always get your name completely and utterly wrong.
I always just call her Sam. Yeah,
Sam Taganakuru. Now, she is a fabulous back row player. Played for the How of Fife, and then has came and played youth How of Fife, and then into the main team, and then she's now gone to Stirling County and is going to have the chance to pull on a Glasgow jersey. Glasgow seem to be getting a bit more serious about this, Jonny, and hopefully they're going to start seeing a bit better results, even though they beat Edinburgh at one point last year.
Yeah, I hope so. It's been a rough couple of years in the Celtic Challenge for Glasgow, but the coaching setup's looking really interesting this year. The squad looks good. We've got 2 Ainsworths in the squad this year. Katie Ainsworth's a hell of a player. So it's nice to see her. It's nice to see Holland Bogan back as well. She had a great Celtic Challenge last year, I thought. So it's like we just spoke about with Edinburgh men's team. It's kind of green shoots appearing, young players coming through and kind of starting to get a little bit more put together, because it's been a rough start. Like there's no getting away from it. So yeah, hopefully we can build on that a little bit.
I would have to say as well, there's the 2 Highland players that were in the squad last season are in again. Ailey McGilvery in the forwards and Rihanna Darragh at the scrum half. They both played age grade for Scotland, so I'm hoping that they have a consolidating what they did last season and can build on it.
Absolutely. And Edinburgh's Edinburgh really have announced a really strong squad, hopefully, and fingers crossed they're going to do something this year. They've got Scotland contracted players in Adele Ferry, Ayla Ronald, Alex Stewart, Hannah Ramsey, all Scotland players. Hannah Walker, who was the top try scorer in the Celtic Challenge last year. Meryl Gunderson, Molly Pullman, all Scotland players. They've also been joined by someone a Scotland international who I thought was retired in her youth, and it's great to see a Nicola Howitt coming back on, and she's been included in the squad. And so we've now, it's really weird to see that's another. So now we've got 4 Howe 5 players involved.
She's kept that to herself, by the way, because
she really has
with Nick at the same time quite a lot, and so me and Nick chat a lot through the week, and she did not mention a single word about it.
No,
so when I see her on Saturday morning, we'll be having words.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's great to see. So yeah, David, looking in it from outside in, Celtic Challenge, what's your thoughts on Celtic Challenge? Do you think it's going to be something?
I wish I had something brilliant to say here, because this is yet another competition that is unavailable here, at least as far as I know. And believe me, I look hard. I watch a lot of competitions. Is it really? So I've watched Super 6. There was a thing on like Friday early afternoons where I am. You could watch Super 6 live. That disappeared. And this I've never seen. If it's available on YouTube, I can't wait, because I'm going to dive right in. And by the way, this hole in the competitions I'm able to see, it's we're going to get to it in Hands in the Ruck. It's a whole thing. And I almost had to break up with rugby entirely this weekend. I'm so mad. And so this is really good news. This is the best news I've heard in a while.
Yeah, I have to say I have fallen out with rugby this weekend, but more the delivery of rugby on TV this weekend. But that's a different story as well. Probably fairly similar to yourself, David. Well, for me,
we'll get to it.
Yeah. For me, I think certainly Edinburgh, with the squad they have, should be able to do something. The Glasgow, I think, are going to come strong, slowly but surely. But I think Glasgow need to build a little bit more, and they had a bit of a stuttering start, but I think they'll do something well as well. So we've got both Glasgow and Edinburgh playing on the 20th of December. It's the first game. Edinburgh travel to Ireland to play the Irish Wolfhounds, which is a tough game, and Glasgow travel to Wales to take on Brighton Thunder. So it'll be interesting to see. We'll get onto YouTube and have a look and see if we can get as many people watching these games as we can to bring on, and hopefully they'll then start maybe giving us some professional contracts for the Edinburgh and Glasgow players as well, and moving them forward. URC, we'll cover a couple of URC things just because we never got a chance to.
Yeah, well, we missed last week. Last week's gone. It's in the
last
past.
week.
Let's just talk about Champions Cup.
We never got a chance to discuss last week, and I would hate to undercharge our fantastic listeners by not talking about Edinburgh beating Ospreys, squeaking past Ospreys, and Scarlets nilling. I will repeat this: nilling. Dramatic pause. Glasgow, and So Edinburgh 19, Ospreys 17. Allan, half-time, we had tries from Tom Curry, Harry Morris and Harry Patterson. It was 5-5 at half-time, and then it seemed to be they started to score. A really tough game from what I can see, but a valuable 4 points in the URC for Edinburgh.
I think, it's the old cliche, isn't it, that being able to win ugly is, good teams find a way to win regardless of how it's going. And we have, heaven alone knows, we've berated Edinburgh enough for not being able to do that. It's a wee bit disappointing that they had to resort to winning ugly, given how depleted the Welsh teams were. But that's perhaps a point we shouldn't labour, just in case Jonny spontaneously combusts.
Oh, I've got it laboured and underlined on my bit of paper here about how.
Just out of interest, what's the policy on gestures before we get to the Patreon? We don't have to bleep those out, do we?
No, they don't need to be. They don't need to be bleeped out.
You don't need to bleep any gestures out, Jonny. But yeah, I think David, looking in from outside again, Edinburgh really needing to start. They need a good season, especially Sean Everett needs a good season. We talk about this regularly, David, when we're messaging back and forward, and when we've had a chat ourselves. And your take on is we'll talk about obviously the European game and the Patreon side of things, but that seems to that's Sean Everett getting a couple of games winning, no spoilers, in a row. Hopefully it's a positive move for Edinburgh.
Yeah, I have weirdly vague positive feelings about Edinburgh this year, though I almost think if they have a successful season, that'll be a reason to keep the coach around, and then it'll be just like the Scotland team where it's like, oh, well, that was just good enough, so we're not going to get a good coach. I don't have much faith in him. I think both Scottish teams are suffering too from the Professor Umbridge style of David Nucifora, who's like coming in and bringing his little hatchet around. But I just feel like there's something different going on in Edinburgh this year. I don't know if you want to talk about it now, but I put together some silly numbers and stuff that I think point to positivity. Like you said, couple wins in a row. They needed that. There's interesting things. It's mostly just a feeling now and completely unscientific. But I feel like the directions of these two teams are going in opposite directions. I feel like Glasgow are a little off the boil this year, and I think Edinburgh have figured some things out that they haven't been doing right in a couple of years.
Yeah, and if you want to bring some numbers in, you can bring some numbers in.
Oh, well, I got funny stuff. So I tried to, really dive in and look at as many stats as I could, Glasgow versus Edinburgh, but because of the missing game, those numbers are all inherently slanted. So I did some really dumb, like dim-witted math. So people talk about crunching the numbers. I would say I probably crunked the numbers in some way. So I did something with them, though whether or not it's scientifically valid, I don't know. But so with a small sample size and Edinburgh playing one fewer game, I sort of prorated the stats I was looking at, and I looked at a few of them. So according to my, again, dim-witted model, if Glasgow had only played 5 games, they'd have scored 134.2 points, which isn't a ton, more than Edinburgh's 128. If Edinburgh, conversely, had played a 6th match, they should have around 153.6 points. Again, not too far off Glasgow's 161. And the other couple of things I noticed, like Edinburgh are right now slightly ahead in terms of turnovers lost. And using my model, if Edinburgh had played 6 games, they'd still have 4.8 fewer conceded turnovers. And if you pretend Glasgow had only played 5, they'd have conceded 4 more. So in both cases, it feels realistic and kind of matches. And then that final thing, like Edinburgh, they've gotten a losing bonus point in all 3 losses this season. And does that maybe indicate a strength of character that was perhaps lacking the last couple of years?
Great stats, by the way.
I don't want him back anymore.
Well, this is such an antidote to the pod I did with John and Jonny. I tell you, this is wonderful.
My crunked numbers are working.
Crunk numbers. You can bring crunk numbers anytime you want, David. That's it helps. It helps me, cheers me up about Edinburgh regularly. What the good thing though is that well, last year what was more annoying with Edinburgh, I think, was that over the last couple of seasons, we have got a few losing bonus points. That seemed to be, we're getting closer. That was one of Sean Everett's kind of things to grab a hold of was, look, if scores had just gone a little, if we'd done 10% extra here and 10% extra there, we would have turned these games over, especially some of the South African games. So I think it's, Jonny, I suppose we are kind of knocking on the door with Edinburgh the same way as we're knocking on the door with Scotland if everything goes right with this and that and the other, then actually we're a really good team. But it's the this and that and the other that doesn't go right.
Yeah, and I don't know, it's hard and it's frustrating for me, and I'm not even an Edinburgh fan, because, like you say, it sounds like a bleed over from Scotland. And it's just so much like, we were so close. If this had gone away, we'd have been fine. We were so close. If we'd done this, would have been fine. It's like, that's okay occasionally, but it seems to be that's the answer more often than not. And if there's one or two things, little things not going your way every single time, at some point you've got to stop saying that that's unlucky. Because if they don't go your way half the time, then maybe that's a little bit of luck. If it's 3/4 of the time you're coming out and saying, if only this had gone our way, we'd have won, then you've got to start thinking, well, why are these things not going your way almost all the time?
Yeah, and I guess as you say, and Allan, we talk about that French try that was never allowed in the Six Nations, and it's like, well, or referees' decisions that go against us that cost us the game, and we kind of think, well, yeah, but maybe if we'd actually done this, that, and the other correctly, we would have been 2 tries ahead in the first place.
Yeah. I can't believe I mentioned her for the second time this afternoon or this pod, but whenever I speak to Ree, her thing is like, in a game that you win or lose by less than a score, you can't blame the referee, which I think is a very valid way to look at it. Like, if the game's that close, it's not the referee that made you lose it, it's the fact that you didn't score enough points.
And generally speaking, referees are bad, and they can be bad, and they sometimes have howlers. But I mean, I genuinely don't believe in the Cam light today, despite what I hurl at the air at Murrayfield. I don't believe any referee is biased against us. I think it's that people sometimes make bad decisions, but they make bad decisions for other teams too. I think it's just, and I think you're absolutely right, Jonny. I think it's almost the inverse of the sort of Gary Player thing. The more I practice, the luckier I get. We just keep getting unlucky, and after a while, you have to stop saying, if things have just gone differently, and working out how to make things go differently, and that's part of the malaise with Scotland. And maybe Sean Everett's, the last couple of games, Sean Everett's maybe finding a way to do that, and having called for him to go, I'd be delighted if he turns it round, I have to say.
It's a great famous quote from Napoleon, who said, "Give me lucky generals."
Yeah, absolutely. Well, talking about down on the luck, we've got 7 minutes to talk about Glasgow, Jonny. Glasgow, Scarlets 23, Glasgow 0. And believe me, Edinburgh have gone down to Wales and absolutely sucked too. So we can't. I'm trying to enjoy myself, but I'm not, because I know that karma will come back and bite me in the backside. 2 tries from Scarlets, but 3 penalties lead to 3 points each time from the beleaguered Welsh. So Jonny, no tries from Glasgow. Was Jonny Try Machine Matthews not playing?
I think the main thing that concerned me after that game, and then the whole week basically leading up to the European games, is that I was quite happy to say there were very, very, very few frontline Glasgow players involved in that game. But the real problem is that 2 of the 3 frontline players who started had probably among the worst games I've ever seen them play. Like, Johnny Matthews went out and resolutely proved why he's not in the Scotland squad, because he had a stinker. And then
was there a football about somewhere? Sorry.
Worse than that, for the first time really that I can remember, Josh Mackay was howling in that game. And Glasgow struggle when Josh Mackay doesn't play well. And we're lucky because he very, 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 very rarely doesn't play well, but that was one of them. And I don't remember seeing him have that bad of a game. So for me, like, the thing that concerned me, I was a bit like, I don't mind if 12 players who aren't usually in the squad have a stinking game and we get battered. Like, it's annoying, but I think we'll still be in the playoffs at the end of the season. What worried me was that we retained 3 frontline players, one of whom in Kyle Rowe, who'd just come back from the Scotland camp, and he was about the only one that showed up. That to me was a worry.
Yeah, and David Holy, Josh Mackay. Josh Mackay is the unformed 15 at this moment in time. Lots and lots of people calling for him. Now, Jonny, is he Scotland qualified yet?
No, not until November, sadly. I thought it was this year's Six Nations, but it's not. It's autumn next year. He's Scots.
Many people, David, calling for Josh Mackay to be supplanting Blair Kinghorn in the Scotland squad, etc. Well, he had someone who is, just as Jonny says, he plays incredibly well, had a stinker.
It's interesting. I love Josh Mackay, and I see it too. He's got that X. It's so cliche, but he has that X factor. You see it in the lines he picks, in the way he runs, his elusiveness. You see him. You only have to see him for 3 minutes before you go, oh, something's happening with this guy. But supplanting BK. We've talked about it so much. Kinghorn has so come into his own since going to France, and he's become such a great player. We talked about it a year ago. He was their choice over other great internationals to start in the European final. Can you give that away? I mean, both of them have some malleability in terms of other positions they can play. I want them both in the squad. Is this, as they said in The Wire, is this what you call one of them good problems?
Yeah, it has to be, doesn't it? Really, when we look at, and then you then have to think about, well, you may have Josh Mackay in your squad, but will Townsend use him because Tom Jordan is the Swiss Army knife of Scottish rugby, and Allan, he was not used to his potential in the Autumn Nations.
No, although the thing about Swiss Army knives is, unless you get a really good one, they just are slightly suboptimal at doing every job they can do. And I say that as someone that owns about 4 or 5 Swiss Army knives. But
but you wouldn't say it about Tom Jordan, though, would you?
Well, I'm still not convinced about him at 12 for us, I have to say. But I think he does he's a very good option at 10, reasonable option at 12, and an excellent option at 15. So, I think Tom Jordan's a very, very good player who needs to be in there around the squad. But Josh Mackay's also fantastic. And I think, they talk about human factors and things going wrong. They talk about the Swiss cheese model and how it's all the holes in the cheese lining up. And Johnny Matthews and particularly Josh Mackay having a stinker when lots of players were having a stinker, I think is just a case of the holes in the cheese lining up and the problem happening. I think we can be reassured that that's a very rare event for Josh Mackay in particular, and it's unlikely he's going to have 2 stinkers in a row. Spoiler.
Does anyone else have a feeling like this podcast is going to be the most popular with Swiss rugby fans in a long time, because we've already mentioned the algorithm is like, wow, they keep talking about Swiss. Are they talking about hot chocolate? Oh, rugby? Okay.
But they are Al Gruyere. No, sorry, that's £2 in the.
No, yeah.
Wow, you were trying to squeeze that one right in there, didn't you? That was it.
I think Gruyere's a French cheese as well. I think we've just alienated the Swiss. So yeah, I'm up at £7, Jonny, if you're still counting.
I'm counting. You're damn right, I'm counting.
Well, we are going to move on to the second part of the podcast, into the Patreon. We're going to talk about the European Cup and the 2 nights that the 2 games and the 2 nights or afternoons that our friends from Edinburgh and Glasgow had against the French and the Mancunian. So for us, we are going to make a move on. Thank you so much for joining us. For those of you, David, again, how did people catch up with you on social media and also on the
on the hellscape of what I still call Twitter? I'm at of Scrum. I'm on Blue Sky, and also the Wall Street Journal is part of the sort of, it's kind of under the umbrella of the WRAP, WWRAP, and it's part of the Global Gainline Network on YouTube. We love comments, and over 1,200 subscribers already, so shocking.
Fantastic. So thank you to Allan McDonald, thank you to Jonny McGinty, and a massive thank you to our cousin from across the pond, David Lawrence. Thank you for joining us tonight. And I will move on to the Patreon. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Bye all.
Good evening.
Bye. To be fair, you said tonight about 3 times, Craig. I just didn't think highlighting it was a problem.
I tried to.
I just threw a good evening in there.
I tried to hide it and be